Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. Last weekend, there's a high school football game in the United States. I know you're thinking, Silverlight, there are hundreds of high school football games in the United States, and most of us don't care. Yes, I agree with you. Generally, I wouldn't care. But this specific high school game took place with a participant called Bishop Sycamore. That's right. This is a supposedly real school in the United States. And they managed to contract with ESPN, which is a major network in the United States that carries football. Now, Bishop Sycamore, playing another high school team, got wiped out 58-0. Like it was beyond a shambles. But the real trick is, you go on their webpage, and they don't actually have a physical school. They have a P.O. box. So what we're looking at is cronyism in the nth degree. These are people who managed to somehow get themselves a hold of a charter. I'll bet you money there's government funding being kicked into them one way or another, and they're using it to basically play fantasy football. That's not good for anybody. The high school kids that were playing on the other team, LGU I think it was, whatever, the legitimate high school kids, let's call them that, are trained and disciplined, and they proved it by winning 58-0. No, this is not about them. I have respect for them. They're going to school, doing their academics, etc. Bishop Sycamore, whose initials are BS, it seems like their entire game plan is a scam. Now, this worries me. Not specifically that U.S. football ever didn't concern me. I admit, when I was younger, I was a fan. I played, not professionally, but same token, I played all the way up to the university level. And, it's fun to play. It's not bad to watch. I'm not going out of my way to watch it. I don't have TV. But it's a major thing in the United States. So the fact that these people could come basically out of nowhere and arrange a game on national TV, that's right, U.S. national TV, it's scary. So what other tricks are these people pulling behind the scenes? The reason I ask this is because up here in Ontario, Canada, the center of the universe, as we like to call it, our kids just went back to school as well. And I know about you guys, but my kid got sent home an information package. Most of it was pretty standard stuff like, do we have your permission to take your kid to outside to do events? Yeah, of course. One that I could possibly see parents having a problem with was, do we have your permission to take photos of your child during like a school event, like if they're at a basketball game and they take pictures of the court? Okay, I can see some people not liking that, but same token, I have no particular problem with this, so check mark on that. Then they had one that said, is it okay with you if we put your child's projects and art up in the hallways? Yeah, no problem. Some parents might not like that, but yeah, if my child is good enough to have that, I have no problem with her doing it. And then they started to get a little concerning. Do you give us the right to take your child's picture or photo and use her name on social media? I thought about that for a bit. And at one point, I was my wife and I were chewing it over, and she was wishy-washy on it. And at first I didn't like it. And then I said, you know what? It's 2021. They're only putting her name up there, and all of her family is elsewhere. All of my family is present. So there's really nothing to worry about. We kept reading through the provisions, and they came to this very interesting provision, which is why I led this off with the Bishop Sycamore game that was on TV. Because as a blanket letter that they sent out, one of the conditions that you had to decide whether you agreed or disagreed to was, and I should have kept this. This would have been good for me to read out verbatim, but at the time I was still going over it in my head. Do you agree to let your child be used on the news, be that locally, nationally, or internationally, and we release your child's name, age, grades, and all sorts of data like that? And that's where I drew the line. I scratched that section out. No way. What kind of parent is going to say yes? Now, news events happen all the time. At some point, a prime minister may choose to visit a school. It happens. There's a good photo opportunity for them. A news report might want to come by and either do a feel-good story or an expose. It happens. But in both the case of any official, they're going to have to give a couple days notice. And during that time, any school would be able to send out permission forms and do we have your kid's permission? So why are they so anxious to get this out of the way at the first of the year? Do they know something? Like, even if this is a blanket form that's issued for the entire Board of Education, why are they so worried about getting our permission for a news team that may or may not be coming? It's very troubling. And especially when they're considering talking about the child's age, full name, and grade. No, that's basically saying to the predators out there, here you go, take my wallet, take the keys to my house, come right on in, check out what we got. I'm just curious if anybody else got similar packages from their schools. I haven't really had a chance to call around and talk to my friends about it yet, but it is deeply troubling. Everything else, I'm cool with. Do we have your permission? Your permission to put your kid's name in the school newsletter? Of course you do. Put your kid's art on the walls. Yeah. She's 9 years old for the record, so art is still the big thing at that point. And just troubling that they would be that worried about the media coming in all of a sudden. I mean, I don't know about you, but any principal worth their salt is not going to let the media in the door without first talking to the parents, even if you have that signed permission slip ready to go to start with. It's just not in the school's best interest. Because journalists, no fault to them, have been known to lie. They've been known to say, oh, we're coming in to do a story about little Johnny, who we hear has A+, and it's a special interest. And meanwhile, they go in and interview all the kids and they find out, one of the teachers is doing something shady, just like Bishop Sycamore, the BS high school. And that's what the media should be doing. They should be investigating things and not just reading stuff on a teleprompter. But why is my kid in primary school on red alert that this could happen at any point? Have you ever tried to get into a school in 2021? As a parent, myself, walking into school is not easy. I would call ahead to the principal, arrange an appointment, and go to the desk first thing and check in because, I don't want to be that sucker that walks in and some kid who's having a hissy fit decides they're going to do something weird that day and I wind up in jail for it. And that happens. There's also the opposite that's true, that some unsavory people want to get into schools for God knows what reason, and I don't even want to talk about that. So you want to make your presence known. You want to make it known in advance. If I call the principal, can we have an interview? And he said, next Friday, fantastic. Next Friday, 2:00, I'm there. And the principal will know. They'll make a note in their book. They'll tell their secretary, receptionist, or administrative assistant, or whatever they call them now, that, so-and-so will be here at this time on Friday. Then the secretary knows, receptionist, whatever the modern correct term is, I don't know anymore. But the media, they're worried about walking in? This just doesn't make sense to me. And it also makes me a little bit worried. But anyways, I just suggest everybody reads home the documents they send to you, because that was kind of slipped in there, and they expected it to be signed and returned as soon as possible. Take a look at schools. Take a look at what's going on, because if BS high school, college, or whatever the hell they want to call themselves is able to get in there, what else is getting into your child's education? If you enjoyed this show, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.